someone in your life holds more power than you think, simply because they care less about you than you care about them. Picture this. It's late, well past midnight, and Sarah is staring at her phone. Her heart races each time a notification lights up the screen. But it's never him. She rereads his last text, left unread 2 days ago. In relationships like these, where one person holds all the power, it's not always a matter of love or affection. It's about the principle of least interest, a behavioral science concept underlying so many human dynamics, relationships, workplaces, even family ties, whether we see it or not. Why does caring less consistently translate into power? And why does this balance skew so predictably that experts have studied it for decades? Let's consider a fundamental principle, the principle of least interest. It suggests that the person who is less emotionally invested in a relationship controls it. This isn't just theoretical. Sociologist Willard Waller's work in the 1930s suggested that relationships were influenced by the partner who cared the least. And it's not just about romance. In negotiations, those who can walk away hold more leverage, often perceived as having an advantage. The power isn't rooted in apathy, it's a strategic distance. Now consider a different scenario. A workplace meeting. John, a middle manager, barely speaks up during discussions. He's known for not needing the job as much as others, having alternative offers lined up. Interestingly, colleagues adjust their opinions to match his silence. Some studies suggest that employees perceived as having less at stake may receive more favorable treatment. Those specific figures, like 40% faster, are not well documented. But here's where it gets tricky. Some people defy this rule and invest deeply and still maintain influence. Think of a dedicated teacher who pours energy into her students, yet commands their respect and attention. The key difference? Her investment is selective and purposeful, creating a dynamic not about who cares more, but about who cares smartly. This shifts the focus from merely caring less to understanding the stakes involved. How much you care, strategically and where it matters, defines the nature of power you hold. So if less interest equals more power, why do some people actively pursue those who seem indifferent? Let's explore the scarcity principle. This psychological concept posits that perceived rarity increases value. When someone is less available, suddenly their presence becomes more desirable. In a classic experiment by Worchel, Lee, and Adewole, cookies in a jar were valued more when they were scarce, and the jar with 2 cookies was rated twice as desirable as the one with 10. The same applies to people. If you've ever felt more interested in someone the less they responded, you've experienced this principle firsthand. Now apply this to social settings. Picture a popular figure at a party. They move through the room, engaging minimally. Yet everyone seems eager to win their attention. Their scarcity creates allure, driving others to seek their approval. This isn't a random social quirk. Some studies suggest that scarcity-driven desires can increase attraction, though specific figures like up to 40% are not consistently documented, simply because the human brain equates limited availability with higher worth. However, there are exceptions. Some individuals flood others with attention and still remain highly sought after. Consider celebrities who maintain intrigue despite constant media visibility. A secret? It's not just scarcity of their presence, but scarcity of genuine connection. They offer glimpses of themselves, keeping deeper parts hidden, which maintains the allure. The scarcity principle shifts our understanding of value in relationships, not just about presence, but about perceived depth. So if scarcity fuels desire, why do some people still chase those who treat them poorly? This leads us to the theory of psychological reactance. When someone feels their freedom to choose is restricted, they desire the choice more intensely. If you're told you can't have something, suddenly it's all you want. Imagine being told you can't have that last slice of cake. Suddenly, it's the only thing on your mind. In romantic contexts, being ignored or dismissed can trigger a similar response, fueling an irrational desire to win back what feels lost. Some research suggests people may pursue unattainable partners more than those who seem readily available, though specific figures like 25% more are not consistently documented. Consider a professional setting where you've been passed over for a project. Instead of losing interest, you might work harder to prove your worth, yearning for what seems just out of reach. This push and pull dynamic isn't about the project's importance, but about regaining control, a response triggered by perceived limitations. Yet, paradoxically, some people find power in being consistently available and supportive, evoking loyalty and reverence. In these cases, the availability itself is a reassurance rather than a restriction, flipping reactance on its head. This reveals how the dance of control in relationships can be swayed by perceived freedom or its lack. It's not just about how much freedom, but how that freedom is framed. So if restrictions spark pursuit, why do some people let go when boundaries are set? Next, we have the concept of intermittent reinforcement. This principle suggests that unpredictable rewards increase motivation more than consistent ones. Think about gambling. The uncertainty of winning keeps players hooked. In relationships, inconsistent attention can create a similar effect, drawing people in with the hope of occasional connection. A 2010 study on social media likes found that unpredictable engagement could increase user activity by more than 30%. Translate this to everyday life. Imagine a boss who sometimes praises employees in lavish ways, yet other times seems aloof. This inconsistency can drive employees to constantly seek approval, working harder for the next moment of recognition. It's a classic conditioning pattern. But there's a twist. Some people thrive on consistency and find power in predictable, reliable exchanges. When everyone around them is unpredictable, their stability becomes a rare and valued commodity, offering tranquility in chaos. This suggests that the real power might lie not in being erratic, but in strategically choosing when to be unpredictable. It's about timing, not just randomness. So if uncertainty keeps people engaged, why does consistency sometimes build deeper bonds? Finally, let's examine the Ben Franklin effect. This counterintuitive principle suggests that people are more likely to continue doing favors for someone if they have already done a favor for them. In Franklin's own words, "He that has once done you a kindness will be more ready to do you another." A 1969 study confirmed this. When participants were asked to return a favor, they reported greater fondness for the person they helped, as opposed to those who did nothing for them. Imagine a family member who asks for your help repeatedly, even for small tasks. Over time, your willingness to assist them grows, not because of obligation, but because each act of kindness reinforces your bond. The act of giving becomes self-perpetuating, strengthening the connection. Now think of a workplace where a manager asks the team input on decision-making. Those who contribute ideas feel more invested in the outcome and the group's success. This isn't just about favors. It's about creating a cycle of engagement and reciprocity. However, this can backfire if perceived as manipulation or overuse, leading to resentment instead of fondness. The key is moderation, balancing genuine need with appreciation, ensuring the cycle remains mutually beneficial. The Ben Franklin effect offers a different take on power. It's about fostering a cycle of giving that deepens connections and builds loyalty. So, if doing favors builds bonds, how do we understand who truly holds power in these dynamics? Back in Sarah's room, the phone screen remains dark. But this time, she understands that the power isn't in his lack of response. It's in her comprehension of the dynamics at play. Recognizing these principles enables us to see the strings pulling at our emotions and change how we react to them. Because in the end, real power lies not in caring less, but in understanding who and what is truly worth caring for.